20s is very much about learning about life.
Yes,
I think
it is.
for the first 18 years of our lives, we're in school. Like,
I think it was in my late 20s where I think I sort of got a foundation, like a proper solid foundation of who I am. Honestly, Mara, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I was those ladies that I used to look up to in high school.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm that girl.
Yeah. I wish there was a way I can go to younger me and say, girl, you're gonna be okay.
Oh, wow,
In the wise words of urban poets, Kenneth Lamar.
We'll be alright.
We'll be alright.
And I find it very, very insulting when people don't do it.
Tell me you're 30 without telling me you're 30. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Just Chats with Sukafato and
Masejo.
And yeah guys, we're back with another episode.
We come back.
And today we're just gonna jump right into it. So guys, I turned 26 this year. Yeah. And actually last year I thought that I was gonna like cry and feel some type of way when I turned 25. But I was fine. Mm-hmm. And then 26, I was like, whoa.
What's happening?
I'm kind of
what's going on?
I keep telling everyone that like I can feel that frontal lobe. I feel it. Yeah, so I thought today we could chat about like, that realization. My sister's now in her 30s.
I'm part of the third floor gang. So talk to me nice, Nimdala, guys.
Yeah.
I'm grown.
Yeah. So I thought it would be a good time to talk about like, we've experienced 20s. Like you've experienced the whole 20s.
Dude.
I'm more than halfway there. Like yesterday, I was buying some new running shoes and I was filling in a survey and I was in the 25 to 40 category and I said, wow, those are
your people now. Yeah, that is you.
Yeah, so just 20 has been interesting times. I think I've just been realizing how much growth I've experienced over the past few years. And just like when I think back to when I was 18, like when you turn 18, you're like, I'm an adult now. Like I know life.
That's what you think, yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm 26 now. I know life now. Like,
and the funny thing is that you're gonna be 30, then you're gonna be like, I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I think just realizing how much growth happens in your 20s. And I think maybe I've seen like some people are like scared of getting older, but I've also just seen the beauty of growing older. And because I know when we grow up, parents will tell us certain things like don't do this, there's food at home, like and you're like no, and then I'm like, okay, actually, you know what, like now I'm buying groceries, I'm like, hey, there's food at home. So what I'm just saying about that is how I'm realizing that there's some lessons in life that you can only learn by going through it.
No, 100%. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, as you said, I'm now 30 and it feels so good. Yeah. I remember, but before talking about that, I remember when I turned 25, we were in Thailand. But I felt, I enjoyed our holiday, but the fact that I was turning 25 scared me. Yeah. Because...
And I didn't realize, I was just saying, I still took me on a trip, we're just having a good time.
And I felt like there's so many things that I hadn't achieved, or my life was not going a certain way, or I was scared of the actual number that now I'm 25, I'm thinking, 5 years from now I'm going to be 30. And it's so unnecessary, honestly speaking, to think like that. Yes, I'm not saying live life without a plan and goals and all of that, but you cannot punish yourself if you don't achieve the things that you wanted to, because life happens in a crazy way, because then you look back, like right now I look back at my 20s and I said there are a lot of lessons and there are a lot of good times and a lot of achievements, but let's not forget to live in the moment. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. As you said, you learn lessons through life. And I was watching a Nollywood movie this morning at the salon and the other song is like, life itself is a lesson.
Yeah, said, that's so real.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because we think you think a lesson is like here and there, but it's like every day, everything. There's so much to learn. So that's what I've picked up so far.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's too soon to ask, but like, have you noticed like? Because what I've been hearing also, a lot of the girls on socials are saying like, you look forward to, I think also Mal Robbins said this as well on her podcast, like we all look forward to like our 20s, and like 20s are the best years of your life. And then you're doing a lot of actually like growing and figuring stuff out. And then people lately have been saying like, 30s is actually where it's at.
Honestly, I think that's true. Now that I'm part of it.
Yeah.
I've only been 30 for like 5 months, but honestly, I can attest to that because in your 20s, you literally, I felt like I was winning most of it, most of the time. Because I don't, like, one moment I'm 18 or I'm 17, and the next I'm 18, I'm an adult. And I'm expected to act a certain way or know certain things or behave a certain way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm still a kid. I'm just a baby,
Yeah.
And then, as you said, when you turn 20 also or 21, people are like, you grow,
here's the key. Yeah, really.
And it's just like, no. And most people are still studying or just start studying. Like, fortunately for me, I was very blessed that at that time, I started working. I think I had just finished my diploma at the age of 21. So I was very fortunate that, okay, then I was in the working environment. But a lot of people are still in school. And even when you're in that working environment at that age, you are a baby and you're working with people that have been there for years.
And I think the other thing now that I'm thinking of is that sometimes growth is not necessarily coming from your age, but what you're going through. Because
so
I think also for me, maybe the other reason I'm realizing that I'm kind of grown, because it's the first time in my life that I've gotten to experience like having to look after myself and being alone here and having responsibilities. I'm like, I'm just gonna have like some popcorn for dinner or like
some Oreos.
Making real life choices. I think also whatever you're going through, because I think there's also some people maybe that are forced to grow up when they're still because it's very different if for example like myself, which I think I was very lucky, like when I was going to varsity I didn't really have my stress. I'm at home, I'm like still like 21, I'm like my parents are taking care of me, I'm just going to school. But there's some people that have to be the breadwinner at that age, and you can't. I think that's also something that like switches your mentality.
And some people are even parents at that age. So they have that responsibility as well. So 20s look different for everyone. But whatever path you're on during your 20s, it's going to be rough, it's going to be tough, it's going to be
real. And I think, as you know, do you even know my word of the year?
Always know your why.
Always know your why, always know yourself. Because I think that's like 20s people are becoming parents now, and I'm always like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm like, what kind of at that age? I'm like, calm down. But like just realizing that people are like, right now I'm 26. I have friends and people in my where it's like people are having kids on the side. That's like people are asking for permission to go out from their parents. So this it looks different for everyone. And once again, the same thing as social media and money chats and all of those things is that so that you don't feel like kind of like stuck, or obviously there's not a solution to anything, but like to help you, maybe if you're going through some feelings in your 20s, is to ask yourself like, what do I want for my life? Because now if you kind of like seeing like, this person is now having a family and getting married, now I want that. And or someone's like, no, this person is traveling the world, like I want that. It's like, no, what do you really want? So that at least I know it's not gonna happen overnight, but at least it's not like now you want everything and it feels so miserable.
I get what you're saying, is that know your why so that you work towards that one thing. And when everything else is not happening, you're fine because you don't want everything.
And I think also we never actually got a chance to think about what do you want, because at like 25 I thought, okay, I'm gonna be with my husband and family and like in the house and like I'm gonna have my life figured out at 25, and I'm just like as I said, I'm like, today I'm having popcorn for dinner, like I'm still at that stage. But it's like, I think also what I realized that something I didn't do is sit down and actually think about, like when we're young we're like, okay, one day when I grow up I want to have a job and a business or whatever. But like when I turned 25, also this year, especially this year when I turned 26, I sat down and I'm like, what's next for me? What do I really want for myself in life? So that I can see that my 20s, or not even like my 20s, I don't want to put pressure on myself, but that I'm building a life that I actually want. Because I think sometimes people are like, 20s, like we're gonna be rocking every day, we're living life, and you don't want to wake up someday, like yes, we have time, don't put pressure on yourself, but you don't want to wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, like I just...
So that's a very good point that I want to ask you about. What do you do in your 20s? Are you living your best life? Are you working hard so that in your 30s you're comfortable?
Rest.
Because that's when you have the most energy and time.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe you might not have the resources, but you have the energy and time. And then because I'm totally against work,
Yeah.
because then all of a sudden you're working for retirement, and during retirement you don't have the energy
to do all those things.
To do all of those things.
I'll speak my truth here because I feel strongly about this. Honestly, which you probably won't agree with. My parents also won't agree with this. But I am in an era of doing stuff. Like I feel like I have the most energy.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to be. I'm outside. I'm traveling. I'm working. So I'm not at this time getting a lot of rest.
Yeah.
So that is what. So I don't know what those circles are called. Like those. I forgot, guys. It's been a long time since we've done math. Like that overlap. Like
no. Mathematics.
Those like circles to say like happy, like purpose, passion,
magic, or LO. But I see they overlap, and then like life, needs and wants, something like that.
Yeah, like not needs and wants, but like it's like there's even a Japanese, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like ikigai or something like that. Yeah. And should we Google it now?
Girl, what are you talking about?
If you search it, it's IKI.
Yeah.
Also complete, please.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So it's a Japanese.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, can I read it? So I see. It's this. It says, well, this specific one is a Japanese. Oh my gosh, now these phones. It's the phones. But yeah, it's a concept of a reason for being or a reason to live. So then we have these circles. So I'm just looking here for a YouTube video. I'll put it up on the screen. Okay, but if you're listening, it says like what you love, what you're good at, what you're paid for, and what the world needs. And when all of these meet, that's where you find your your reason for being.
Your why.
Your why.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's like realizing. I think if you want to have all of these things, there's certain things that you won't have. And right now for me is
you're sacrificing rest.
I don't want to say that because I'm also so big on like wellness and taking time off. So I do it in a way where I'm like work, rest. Work, rest. So I still prioritize rest and sleep, and I think it's important, but I feel like it could be more if I wasn't taking the time to do all the things that I'm doing. But those things bring me so much joy, and I feel like, okay, like I'm living life when I'm doing these things.
Sure.
So I think you should be searching for that thing that makes you feel alive, you know? So, yeah, and I think for me, my 20s are just about like saying yes and doing everything. Okay, so that I feel like I won't I'm happy in the spaces that I'm in, but I always feel like I won't some things I won't know unless I try. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it, like whatever it is I try it. I'm like actually
that's not for me.
Yeah, and I'm just like in this era of just putting myself out there and seeing where that takes me. And I am passionate about working hard. I would like to retire early. And I don't know when early is, but when I think about 65, I say, ooh, that's kind of far. So early. So I'm not sure what early looks like to me, but it's earlier than 65. But I don't know currently when, because also the finances also need to be aligning and all of that. But yeah, I think I also a big believer in what you said. Like you have the energy and everything now. So I'm like, as much as I'm big on like personal finance or whatever, I'll still make it a priority to like travel and go to things right now and
do things.
Yeah, like I won't be 26 anymore. Like even now, I'm just like, my niece, like, hey, like that. It's just life and growing up. You won't be able to do the same things when you're older. So that's why I'm like, no, I need to I'm 26 now. Let's go to the 4th location. Like you know,
you're killing me with the locations. I say, girl, I am 30. First location. Back home, if home is not already the first location. With me, my 20s, I learned a lot about finances and who I am. I think that was a big one for me because it was a big one because I believe in like financial being financially savvy because money plays a massive role. Like we're not even gonna play around. It doesn't mean you don't have to earn millions or hundreds and thousands of rands to be like successful, but you need to be able
money
to.
affords you a certain kind of life.
It really does.
Yeah,
It really does. It opens certain opportunities. You get to explore more. You get to try out different. As you said, it's a resource.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think that was the biggest lesson for me in my 20s is how to navigate money. Even though I took it too seriously to a point where sometimes I was scared to spend money. And then all of a sudden now I'm spending too much money because I'm like, but then I think my 20s taught me how to balance that out because I'm a big believer that money will come back. I'm not saying be irresponsible, but honestly, it really does come back. So yes, you plan and you budget and you have that experience and you buy that or you do that, and it honestly, Mina, it's always come back. And so I'm super blessed for that.
True, and I think not even just money. I think 20s is very much about learning about life. I think for the first 18 years of our lives, we're in school. Like, we're learning about LO and math, and like we're not learning about life. Like, and then you get you get into the real world, and you're like, oh, this is it. So I think that's what it's been about for me as well. Like everything. To be the person that I am today is because of everything that I've been through, how I reacted. Because sometimes I'm like, oh wait, I didn't like how I reacted in this thing. Or actually, I was like, no, actually, I was right.
I got this.
Just realizing that you can be wrong, you can be right, and you can grow with certain people. You can grow apart from certain people.
That's a big one.
And it's just like it's all about like I think the first 18 years is like school lessons. And then after that, it's like real life lessons where like life really just like teaches you like, hey, you learn like life is not fair, like and like I don't even know what that's like up there, but like there's a lot of lessons like that you have to learn them by going through it. And I think that sometimes I guess just to touch on the like growing apart from people as well is that because people experience different things and maybe you can't relate anymore because you are learning different lessons at
that
different
time.
points.
Yeah, that's a good one. So with my 20s, I think it was in my late 20s where I think I sort of got a foundation, like a proper solid foundation of who I am and what I like, because it was tough for me to be like, this is what I like. This is what I say no to. As you said, I was like literally because you have to try everything
and then
to realize that
yeah.
that's not for me or that's for me. You understand? Like for example, when it comes to like alcohol, there was a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, alcohol is bad. I'm not gonna drink alcohol. Then I was like, I'm gonna drink alcohol because everyone's doing it. And then now I'm just like, if I want to have it, I will. If I don't, no one's going to pressurize me. They taught me about peer pressure in the first 18 years.
Real, because that's another thing about 20s. Because I realize why older people act the way that they act.
What do you mean?
Like, I think, like, older people, like, have this carefree spirit.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, so it's like, that's when you, like, once you start, I think the reason that, for example, when we're younger, we kind of fall for everything is that you haven't learned who you are.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're like, no, that's not who I am.
Like no, what are you get up. I'm not gonna do that.
Like, and then, like, that's why, like, older people have this energy of, like, have you seen, like, sometimes they just break rules in the most random places, like, you dad, like, I'm shy.
Honestly, at home, that's what we use, especially when we're gonna make, like, a decision. Said, no, man, batal.
That basically means, like, we're grown.
No, we're grown.
No one will beat us up.
No,
please don't beat us up, guys.
No, but honestly, so, like, my late 20s taught me that, and that's when I used to feel so frustrated when I could feel that I did not know who I was and what I stood for. I'm not saying that I know myself 100%. No, now that I know, I'm never going to change. You develop, things happen, life happens, and you change. But exactly, I mean, But when it happened, it was so emotional. To a point where I could just feel this,
different.
And this
that's
burden
how I felt.
over.
Like that, when I say I feel my frontal lobe, that's what I mean. Like I felt like
with Lana, this is what you stand for. This is what you're willing to bend backwards for, and who you're gonna bend for. This is when you learn to say no without an explanation. This is when you say, I'm not going to have this person in my space. And no one's going to fight you for it because this is my life. that was a big one for me, because before I think I was sort of like a people pleaser without knowing it.
Yeah.
Because you just want to show up for everyone. And right now I'd be like, no, not Uti, I'm an island. A person can't be an island. You understand? You need a community, you need your family and your people around you. But
you know which people now.
I know which people. And as I said, I know that these are the same people that will show up for me. They don't have to show up the same way I show up for them, because we help each other in different ways. And that's what I learned in my 20s. But I think specifically last year, now that the whole year when I was 29, because I turned December, I turned 30 in December. So the whole year, I know everyone the whole year they're one age, but me, the whole year, I was 29. I was 29, and I was like thinking about it, because I'm like, it didn't stress me as much as 25 stressed me.
Wow.
I was actually super excited, because I felt with my 20s were a bit of chaotic in my head, and I was ready to let them go or leave them behind. And when I turned 30, I sat down, I journaled, I learned it from my cousin. I sat down, I'm like, I did a whole reflection, because she says her year doesn't start on the 1st of January, it starts on her birthday. And I said, actually, now I can have 2 New Years, even though mine are like less than a month apart. But like when I did that, and then it literally just changed my entire perspective for this year. And I can see it in terms of like my goals, how I look at myself, the self-love and the self-respect that I have for myself. Like I was telling my husband the other day, I said to him, you know, Mara, when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like those ladies that I used to look up to in high school. And I said, I'm that girl. And it feels so good. It's so humbling. And I need to make those constant decisions to be that person. I don't want to get my nails did. I said, but she gets her nails done, you know. Like, okay, even with hair, I'm like, maintenance day, guys, I hate maintenance day. It is time. Something. Please, guys, do something. Get us a machine, okay? But don't get people out of jobs. But like, I hate maintenance day. It's like an entire 6 to 8 hours. But I was like, you know what?
It's worth it.
The person that I see in the mirror, not good. I'm not. Please don't get me wrong, but it makes me feel so good.
Thought Digest. Which is Mommy Dearest and Kaya's podcast, and they were talking about that as well. I think I was listening to the episode about it's like glowing up and stuff, and they were talking about like how that like it's not wrong to like be big on like taking care of yourself, because that's what gives you confidence, that makes you feel like comfortable.
And when you show up in spaces like you're not only showing up or showing off your like how you look, but the people that see you, honestly, I believe that you influence them in a good way. That because someone once said, "Yo, Maseho, you did this hairstyle. I saw Banban did it." I said,
and now I'm like, that's my next. My sister had this hairstyle before. I said, I'm doing it. And she did this hair. I'm doing it.
That's the whole point, because you want people to feel good, to look good, to be good. You understand?
And what I've realized also is to like when you mentioned about like how we used to look up to these like, people, like just also realizing that I'm not trying to convince myself that I'm still young, guys, don't worry, but like just realizing that like 26, 30 used to seem like grown.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think it's really made me realize that like how everyone is doing life for the first time. That it's like,
including our parents, guys.
Yeah, like everyone like is doing life for the first time. So now being 26, I'm like, I've gotten, as I said, I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, but I'm still gonna make mistakes and learn some more and grow some more, because this is my first time here, and like there's still so much more life. Like
there's so much to learn and so much to experience.
Yeah, and like when I see, for example, those ladies that go on there, like they talking about them with their matching outfits, their trips always make it out of the group chats. But then I just realized like the reasoning behind that, because it's like, who's like, why not wear matching outfits?
Like why the hell not?
It's like, I think that's when you realize that really the small things are what make life. That's what I've realized about life. It's like the little things are really, I think also it kind of ties in when you were talking about like nails and whatever.
The little things, they add up.
Yeah, because like when I'm like just like, I didn't do my nails for like a whole like month or two. Now every 2 seconds I say I'm so bad. But like those little things, like when I get to finish and crochet a bag, I'm like, I did that with my hands. Just like those little things, especially now with like social media and stuff, you can end up spending so much time just scrolling. And then I saw this TikTok, which is kind of like now the irony of it all, but like I saw this TikTok of this guy saying that he spent his 20s like scrolling online. He can't tell you what he did with his 20s. And that's why he's trying to do more stuff. That's why I, like, every time I scroll on TikTok, I'm like, oh, I don't want to, like, forget what I'm doing with my 20s. I want to say at least, like, oh, yeah, I spent my 20s crocheting bags. Like, even if I'm no longer doing it anymore, it's like, I have something that I know I was doing. Like, okay, my 20s, I traveled. In my 20s, I was reading. I was, like, not that it's like, I was scrolling. I don't remember what the meme at that time was,
That is insane, yeah.
I think that's why I've also been like watching my screen time. Hey, it's not going down, but I'm mindful of it.
Of what you're consuming. I think that's a big one. No, I honestly fully agree with like, I know the words are probably overused, like, which the word I'm referring to is romanticized.
Yeah.
But it's a big one. It really is a big one. Like I saw, okay, we're not talking about social media. Yeah. But I saw...
we spoke about social media in the last episode, so if you want to hear
check it out. Yeah. So she romanticizes her life through pictures. So then she just posted some of the pictures that she had taken. Random pictures, but pictures, when you look at them, you're like, oh, so wow.
Yeah.
And I do that for myself with my own pictures because, when you're maybe sitting somewhere and you don't have data or the Wi-Fi, and you're like, oh,
and I never have data, so I know.
And then you just go through your pictures and you're like, that sunset was kind of pretty, and the person I was with when I was taking this picture, those kind of things, not for posting, but for the fact that
for the memories,
the whole thing. Like honestly, like I remember when I bought my first Le Creuset mugs, I was like, I'm not even waiting. Yeah, we are having tea in them today.
Yeah,
stop
right now. Divider. We're not doing that. As soon as I get home, I'm like,
I use it for who and for what. Yeah. Like I use those things. I wear those things that I bought. But that's what I've learned in my 20s is to actually enjoy the moment.
It's like you were just listening to an episode of Thought Digest that I was listening to, because I'm also talking about like why are you saving that outfit? Like life
I'm honestly a big fan of wearing things now. Okay, obviously unless you're buying it for a specific occasion,
but like life has happened. I think for me, like also like now being 26, I've also now gotten the confidence of like dressing up more. Like I always used to be so shy to be like, oh, like they'll think I tried too hard.
Yeah.
Or now I'm like, I don't care where I'm going. If I wanna do my makeup on this day, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Or I'm like, if I want to wear this outfit, and it's been like sometimes like I wish I could take everything now and like, okay, let me start over at 20, because I was like, why was I so shy? Why was I so scared about what people would say? Because
you learn,
like I'm growing into it and I love it, and I'm so like I feel like I'm so happy about it. That's how I'm like, I just want to share it with the younger me and say, girl, like the other day I was thinking, the other day I was actually thinking about this time. I think I've been 2025 has been, I think in the last update that we gave, I forgot when, but I said that 2025 for me has been just about putting the work in. I hope the results will come. And guys, updates, the results are coming, and I was just thinking back about my life this time in 2020, and I was
5 years ago
down bad, and I was just I was so excited. I remember that day, I was so excited. I was like, I wish there was a way I can go to younger me and say, girl, you're gonna be okay, So I think it's been so beautiful to see, guys, sometimes, I was 21 at that point, and I was like, yeah, no, life is over. I don't even know what's going on. And then now, 5 years later, I'm like, oh, we're good. Everything is gonna be okay. I think, and also just the 20s, it's just it is ups and downs, when it says ups and downs, it's ups and downs. And sometimes, even though I'm in a good and happy era, some days are kind of rough and tough, and I'm like, oh, but it's but it's I think I just love the growth.
No, I think what you just mentioned now about telling your younger self that
we gonna be right. In the wise words of urban poets Kendrick Lamar,
we're gonna be all right.
We're gonna be all right.
So I remember already saying, I think this was what our dad said about, sometimes when you're going through like the worst of the worst, when we're like in the pits, sometimes God can just open the door a bit and just say, look, this is where you're gonna be in 5 years.
Real.
Because when you're going through it, I know it's tough. Like I've gone through it. Some of the things I can't believe that we went through it.
Yeah.
But you go through it. You will go through, if you're going through hell, you will go through hell. That's what I believe in. But as you said, like the whole point is just when you look back and you said, man, I didn't even think that I would be here. Couldn't even dream of being where I am. You understand? And I'm not speaking about materialistic things or traveling or this and that, but even like a sense of peace.
Yes.
Like that was a big thing for me in my 20s. Like I didn't, like, there was so much happening inside that I had to deal with. And right now, some of the things I had forgotten about until like now when we're having this conversation, go to, I'm not dealing or battling with those things anymore. And it shows Guti Skulile, and we've learned our lessons and become better people. Yes, we're not there or where we want to be. We're still learning, but like I just realized it now, good man.
Yeah. So
but
that's the tweet. Like
and a big one for me was also self-image. Because for me, my self-image and my self-confidence, it had to start in my head. What I believed and what I told myself. Because I was really influenced, guys. Don't judge me. I look at people and I believed that's how people looked, or that was a standard, or a certain look was the perfect standard of beauty. And what I was or how I looked wasn't. It didn't match it. And it really messed up with my self-confidence, until... honestly, I'd say even like until last year, when I'm like, no, man, guys, like Imdala, and it helped me to also make decisions to better myself. Like beginning of this year, I said, I'm 30, I don't have any excuse. Like I honestly was like, yo, in my 20s, I'd be like, I'm just a kid, I'm still young. I said, now I'm 30. Like, it really is in my hands. Your life is always in your hands, but like it really hit me that it's in my hands. That's when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go on a journey where I'm gonna be on a fitness journey where I'm gonna
and she did that.
And I did that.
She did that.
Yes, I like it's not easy, but it just hit me, Guti. It's all in my hands, and no one's coming to save you.
True. I think for me also, just reading Atomic Habits. Really, it influences me a lot even today. Like,
it's a great book, guys. Like really, we 100% recommend it.
Yeah, like whenever I'm not doing, like maybe not going to the gym or not reading or something, then I'm like, who do I want to be? Like, and I'm like, am I being the person that I say I want to be? And I'm like, the person that I want to be is going to the gym, is reading, and I'm like, and now I'm not that person because I'm not doing those things. Okay, let me get back to it,
Because they said, what does he say, James Clear in Atomic Habits? He says something about missing your new habit once is okay. Missing it twice is a beginning of a new habit. And I said, Jamesy, what the hell?
And also realizing like the things that I don't want to be doing. And I realized, like, oh, okay, like, that's me now. Because I'm like, those are the habits I've built now. So, I think also 20s is realizing, like, my future's really in my hands. Like, really whatever I'm doing is, like, I'm becoming that person of, like, what is it like? I'm becoming, like, a result of my actions. Or, like, whatever I'm doing is directly influencing
what you're going to become.
What I'm becoming.
So
that's it. I'm like, oh, my future really is in my hands. So let me, so
reality check.
Like, oh, okay. Like, where do I want to be? What am I doing? Yeah, let me see what's next.
No, another one for me was kindness. We speak about it, and I don't know. I feel like we aren't kind enough. I'm not saying be like, but don't perform or use toxic kindness, like, or toxic positivity.
Yeah, okay.
There's being positive, and then there's like, rest. This is reality. You understand? But like, I was at the mall yesterday, and I think I am a kind person. I try. I have my days, guys. Rest. But I was like, it doesn't hurt to be kind, guys. To everyone and everyone, like, be genuinely kind, because you don't.
Everyone is going through their own thing.
And then, I mean, if I was not kind to you, I was probably going through something, and I'm sorry, but it's not an excuse, because everyone is going through something. Like, I spoke to, I think I was walking to Woolies, and I greeted the security guard at the gate, at the door. Like, hello. He's like, hello. I was like, oh, how are you? I'm like, oh, I'm good. How are you? I'm like, oh. And then he's like, and then I got what I got, and then I'm like, oh, thanks, bye. And then like, I said, I hope I made his day. Because it was just like, it doesn't hurt anyone, but the fact that he just didn't walk past this person, and I find it very, very insulting when people don't greet.
Tell me you're 30 without telling me you're 30.
It's a big one, like in the street. Greet. I know those we're told do not speak to strangers, but like greeting, it's a great thing for me. So like, that's another one that I've taken from my 20s, is to be kind, not just to myself but to everyone. But I stand on business. If enough is enough for me, it's enough, and people know that. But I try my best to be kind to people, because you don't know what they're going through, and you're probably gonna need that from someone someday. And I believe what you give is what you get. 100%. So don't get tired of doing good. That's what I've learned. One of my lessons from my 20s. But going back to how I look, or how my self-image, I just want to read this passage from our favorite.
I actually remembered it when I was in Namibia. Last year in November, I was in Namibia, and then I forgot to wear sunscreen, and then like my face was peeling, and then I remembered this, and I thought it came back exactly when I needed to hear these words.
And you told me about it, and like, honestly, guys, the best. So this is from this is called "Ladies and Gentlemen of the Class of '97." So I'm just gonna,
not 99.
It's 97 here. Oh. No, okay, 97. So I'm just gonna read two passages. I love the whole.
We'll link it a video where you can go listen to this.
It's called Everybody's Free in brackets to wear sunscreen. Okay, but then one of the passages says, "Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth, or never mind, you will never understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked."
Yeah.
And it happens a lot now.
Yeah,
you look at pictures and you're like,
I was at my peak. I know I did that.
So that's a big one for me.
Think before we move on, I think that's also another thing that I realized in my 20s. Like, whenever I look back at pictures, and I was like, oh, she's that girl. I think that's what's giving me like confidence now to like dress up, to do everything. And I'm like, because I know someday I'm gonna look back now and say like, oh, I should have been. Now I won't say it because I'm doing it now. Like, I'm not gonna be shoulda, woulda. I'm doing it right now.
No, that was a big one for me, because I'm like, I didn't have like a flat stomach, so I couldn't wear like these kind of tops, or I couldn't wear these kind of skirts. And I'm just like,
I remember when we went to Sun City in, I think it was 2017, guys. We were at
Valley of the
our
Waves,
lowest weight, and we were wearing these like board shorts over our bikinis. This year, guys, we went to Sun City and everything was out. We're like, we'll never be this young again.
We really won't.
And like, we don't want to look back again and say like, why don't we come out? Now we would say, hey, why didn't we come out?
Actually,
yeah, but we're just like, just enjoy, like, because you don't want to look back and say like, I think also like now, like late mid-20s, like you start not having regrets, but I don't, maybe it's regrets, but saying, ish, why didn't I? Ish.
Yeah.
So now those issues that I think about, I'm like, no, when I get to 40, I don't want to be like, I probably will be like,
with some of the things, I mean,
but like now as much as I can, I'm like, ish. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, today I don't want to do it. But I'm like, I don't want to look back and say, oh, I should have done this.
Yeah. No, and another one, just to add on to that, it says, enjoy your body, use it everywhere you can, okay? Don't be afraid of it or what other people will think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own.
Real.
I said, what a wow.
Yeah, and that's why I think one of our first episodes about fitness and moving our bodies. And I think I've also been enjoying that era. I always wish I was running more. Always wish that I'm going to the gym more. But I think it's good that I'm moving my body now and enjoying. I do my pole dance, hoop. I come back with bruises and stuff.
With bruises. I said, girl, that is it polo, kickboxing. What's going on?
Yeah. So, but it's just like it's also good to just be in that era of just getting to enjoy things. I think also now, as we said, like 20, it's a mix of 20s, and also I think when we mentioned like money giving you the opportunity or like the opportunity to do certain things. So I've also been enjoying like going to those classes, and I'm grateful that I get to experience like those things and try new things. Like, who would have thought I would be like
pole dancing? I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, when you posted the TikTok that you've been doing it for 3 years, I said 3 years. 3 years. But you putting yourself first, which is great, you know.
So I think just like as we said, I think one of my biggest lessons for my 20s so far is just enjoying the every day, like, because I think there's like a saying or something that says like the days are long but the years go fast, something like that.
Yeah,
like every day just feels so long,
but
so
then life is going on, so like those things, happening
like, every day that can just make me like, you know, because the other day I was like not having a good day and I had like iced coffee and I was like, this is what life is about.
You almost forgot.
Like this is what life is about. So like just those little things, whether like at time on a walk, a leaf like came down and I caught it and then I kept it and I put it on my bookshelf. I'm like, I don't know what this means, but I'm like, I just landed in my hands, you know, but like just going on a walk, like just those little things. I've just been enjoying all those little things, just getting to crochet, doing my nails, see that my lashes have grown back because I was doing lashes.
Yeah, I know, gone.
Yo. I'm like, I'm tempted to do lash extensions again. But like, you know, getting to look after a plant, baking chocolate chip cookies, like just the
cleaning.
Things. Yeah.
You know, I know it sounds crazy, but like the fact that you can just enjoy those things because it's such a blessing. It really is.
Now, like when I clean, I'll listen to a podcast and I get to hear people. And I'm like, yeah, go girls. Like, you know, I listen to like my favorite podcasts are like wellness, I'll put it there, or like personal journals, which is what our podcast is, and also like tech stuff. So I'm always like listening to those kind of things, and I'm just like, wow, just getting to learn and like hear people having interesting conversations.
What I'd like to share is my lesson. One of the other lessons that I learned in my 20s is I started businesses and projects and this. And honestly, I don't regret that. Really? And right now, like, I'm like, I want to have that, like that hunger, that fire, because I wasn't scared of anything, you know. And it's not that I didn't have things to lose. We had things to lose. But I'm just like, that's one of the things. Start that business, take that course, go, you understand? Do those things because our mom always says that do these things before you have responsibilities. Real. Because it's not that it's going to be impossible, but it might be challenging. It becomes harder to do. You understand? Like even now, I can tell you that it's harder to start the things that I started when I was in my 20s because I have responsibilities. Yeah. You understand? So I'm just like, I'm still thinking of, I thought about starting an NGO, opening up an NGO, an NPO. And then I had a travel agency business. Yeah. And I said, what the hell was I thinking?
But you were exploring.
I mean, that was the whole point. Yeah. That is the whole point. And I think that's the one thing is just to honestly take the leap of faith in your 20s. Yeah. But also surround yourself with people. Try to have a community. Your older sisters, your older cousins, to like guide you. You know, I think that's a big one.
That's a valid one because I think when you were saying about, for example, getting to only start appreciating your body and all of those things at 30. I think, for example, when you're surrounded by other people, when I see you, I don't have to get to 30. And I'm like,
that is such a good point.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm 25 and I'm like, yeah.
Because everyone around you lives like that. You understand?
So also, I'll get it right this time. Your net worth is your network.
No.
Your network. Your network is your net worth.
Yes.
But not like now it's like not anything about money.
Yeah.
But like about life. And so
that's a good one.
I did that.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So, and honestly, I know that you're gonna be making friends and losing friends and meeting new people, but meet new people. Meet people. I mean, like, and doesn't mean that once you turn 30, you're gonna stop meeting people.
Yeah. You're still making friends
I'm still
now.
making friends, and
Yeah.
it's great. It's so shocking. I said, "Oh, guys."
I saw this TikTok saying like it's so nice to meet people when you're grown now. I'm like, let me tell you what happened in season 1, episode 3. Like that was crazy. Because like now sometimes like people that have been in your life, they know your life, but now you meet new people like, oh girl, you won't believe this.
This person and
like,
this person.
Yeah, and I think that's also like I think how beautiful it is that like we're growing older, but there's still things to look forward to. It doesn't get boring, guys. It gets more exciting.
It gets better.
Yeah.
That's
this
that's
is a
my
experience.
trailer,
like we're hyping up the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, no, they were not easy, but they were full of lessons.
Yeah.
And we survived them. And we thank God for that because we've become stronger. Honestly, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Thanks, Kelly Clarkson. And hopefully people that see us and listen to our stories will learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
And maybe...
And sometimes we'll have to go through it.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know, like when people say, hey, metric dance is a waste of money. Don't tell me I want to go through metric dance.
Oh, that's a metric dance.
And they said, they was right.
No, correct. Like, the things I could have done with this money.
The money for the dress, the makeup.
But no one could have convinced me 100%. Otherwise. I wanted to be there and experience it.
And it was good. It was a good experience. I think we had pie at our metric dance.
We had beef Wellington, which is honestly it's pie, guys.
I'm not why don't they just give us proper stuff?
Yeah.
But anyway, now we know. But just to in closing, in finishing, in ending, in closing is that my 20s taught me more about myself and who I was. They taught me self-confidence. They taught me a lot about being kind, as I mentioned, because I think people being kind to me in my 20s helped me. Be kind, so I just want to return the favor to everyone. And shoot your shots when it comes to your career and professionally shoot your shot.
Real lovers.
Hey, but those are my words in closing.
Yeah, for me, it's in the second half of my 20s now.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really I love the woman that I'm becoming.
Yeah.
And honestly, just seeing how life can get better. I think it's been filled with this excitement of growing older, learning more. Because some things are like when you're going through it, it hurts and
it's
everything.
Really tough. You're in a dark space.
Yeah, but not to romanticize struggle or anything, but just realizing that I don't know, it gets better and how the lessons that I've learned are really helping me become the person
they've contributed
contributing to the person that I'm becoming. And I'm just excited. I'm just realizing that I'm grown, because I am grown. 26 is serious. 26 is very serious. But also just embracing that. I think a lot of the things that I'm doing now, there was no way I could have done them without all the lessons I've learned, all the growth I've done. So I don't want to go back. I'm realizing I'm grown and everything, but I don't want to go back because I wouldn't be this person without all of those things. So just seeing, I don't know, guys, I was just in this era of the beauty of growth, to say wow, I wouldn't have seen things in certain ways unless I went through certain things. So I'm as I said, I wish I could take all the lessons and give them to younger me. Let's do it again. But I'm here now, so let's do it this time. And that's what I'm doing now.
No, 100%. Sorry, we were celebrating my friend's birthday recently, and she turned 31. It's you grown. I'm 30. I'm very close to my 20. And she's like, yo, girl, can you believe, Guti, if someone knocks at home and says, can I please speak to umuntu omdala? It's us.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
My friends and I were chatting the other day about how people now talk to us with respect.
Yeah.
Because they're like they talk to you like, no, don't respect me. That talks to you probably. Like, yeah, like oh, guys, they're going to
I can't believe, but it's cool. It's growing up, or
it's a blessing.
It's such a blessing.
Yeah.
And you learn through life and life experiences, and I mean, like, one day you tell stories, and people won't believe you that you went through those things.
I wouldn't lie. I'm also realizing, like, why all the people are the way they are. And I say, like, you've grown so much. Do you remember me? Yeah, I used to hold you. Like, you realize, because that's just like,
it really just happens.
Yeah, I think that's why it's maybe also like relate like with my parents more, because like realize like, oh, I understand it now. I get it now. Like, yeah. So I think it's the beauty of growing up.
100%. No, thanks everyone for joining us in this episode of just talking about our 20s.
Share this with someone that's
in their 20s.
Just finished their 20s.
Or maybe
in the category of 25 to 40.
And like, if you're having regrets about like where you are in life and you're not achieving everything that you want to achieve, or like, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and you will look back. Honestly, you look back and you say, maybe it was not what you wanted, or maybe you had to go, as you said, you had to go through certain things to become the person that you are. But sometimes life hide that bad.
That bad.
But we just want to say, we're not saying that what you're going through is not valid and it's you imagining it. It's real. It's 100% real. And know the struggles.
I'm not gonna lie. I need to rewind. I was saying, let me not say it. But sometimes I'm like, something happened for no reason at all. And just bad things just happen. That's
or when you can't find that's
my true thing.
True, because sometimes maybe you overthink things. Yeah. But no, I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I believe that sometimes bad things happen.
Sure.
And good people. Unfair.
Life is unfair.
And that's life.
Yeah, life is unfair. But life is beautiful as well. So enjoy your 20s if you're in your 20s, and if you're past your 20s.
30s are still good.
30s are amazing.
And if you pass your 30s, 40s are still good.
Life begins at 40.
I think, before we wrap it up, I think there's different things that you're experiencing at different ages. Yeah. And that's good at every stage of your life.
True. And another thing is that you can start anytime. Yes, I'm sure there are some limitations.
My favorite quote, it says, start in your 30s. Start on a Friday.
Yes,
start at 3:30. Start anytime.
Just start.
Anytime.
Our dad ran his first half marathon yesterday.
Yeah.
At the age of 59.
Exactly. And that's
I mean, guys.
We're all doing life for the first time. If you want to start anything, word of the day. Start today. If you're listening to this podcast, start right now. This is your sign.
Enjoy your 20s. If you're in your 20s, have grace. Give yourself grace and those around you grace. If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we're hopefully listening to us as well at that age. Share your experience, share your knowledge, but forgive yourself and learn from your mistakes. Life is
worth living.
That's what I meant to say.
And you know that quote that like millennials have in their houses, like live, love, love.
Yeah.
Live, love, live.
It's
so real.
And none of them says loser. So it's live, laugh, laugh. On that note, we're out of here. Bye.